Begin tonight with some good news, at least for small, medium-sized businesses and those making losses, as the High Court temporarily suspended the enforcement of the minimum tax introduced on the 1st of January this year. In what is also a blow to the KRA, which was banking on the new tax to mobilize about 4.7 billion shillings in the 6 months ending June 2021, the ruling comes just a day before the deadline for companies with a December 2020 year-end to comply with their filings for the period between January and March. Julian Amboko unpacks the ruling.
Tuesday this week, that is tomorrow, would have been the deadline for companies with a December 2020 year-end to comply with the newly rolled out minimum tax at 1% of their turnover. Well, that was until the High Court threw a spanner into the works. In the Monday ruling by Justice Odunga, the High Court has barred the Kenya Revenue Authority from, and I quote, further implementation, administration, application and/or enforcement of Section 12D of the Income Tax Act by collecting and/or demanding payment of the minimum tax pending the hearing and determination of an ongoing petition. Justice Odunga further expressed concern as to what the new tax levied at 1% of a company's turnover would mean for the business environment. In his ruling, Justice Odunga determined, and I quote, that accordingly, it is not far-fetched to say that further implementation of the minimum tax is likely to aggravate the situation, further sending the petitioners and businesses into abyss. Kenya Revenue Authority, which has thus far mobilized 1.04 trillion shillings in the current financial year in tax revenue, was hoping for an injection of 4.7 billion shillings through minimum tax in the 6 months ending June 2021.
Minimum tax, as it is a tax that has been there in other jurisdictions for quite some time now. And Kenya, as it is a late entrant into the field. So as we're looking at it, what generally you're comparing is you're looking at someone's turnover, but what we're saying is that the entities that are consistently reporting losses.
Whereas the ruling today has afforded many businesses a sigh of relief, pundits warn that it is just temporary and could be overturned.
In a nutshell, what it means is that implementation of minimum tax has been suspended. You do not need to comply with minimum tax or pay minimum tax until this matter is determined. And it's important to clarify there that this is just an interim. It's pending the hearing and determination of the constitutional petition.
So in light of the determination issued today, what happens to those businesses which were already compliant with the tax being levied at 1% of their turnover?
If you've already complied, then this amount still remains to your credit as far as the Revenue Authority is concerned. And until this issue is determined, because it's important to understand that if you've already complied, well and good. However, if it's ruled unconstitutional and therefore not applicable, then you can apply for a refund. But to the extent that it's ruled constitutional and KRA can continue collecting, then you just continue collecting, as will people who have not paid.
Minimum tax was introduced through Section 12D of the Income Tax Act and took effect on January 1st, 2021. Julian Amboko, NTV.